Hello everyone, welcome to the video. Salt here. Today we are going to be going over the Panthera Prime and its alternate fire mode. So yesterday we went over the Panthera Prime's primary fire mode. We did a whole video on that, and today is going to be focused on that alternate fire. Now, in this weapon series, I take a weapon and I test that weapon on its own merits, meaning I don't mix it with any kind of external factors that would boost that weapon's performance other than mods putting on the weapon itself. And I just leave it up to the viewer to make their own conclusions about those external things. Like, hey, Salt put viral on the weapon, but I'm going to be using Nourish, so maybe I don't need to put viral on the weapon. Things like that. So let's get into the Panthera Prime. It is a primary assault rifle, but it shoots these like little saw blades out. Now, that's the primary fire, but today we're actually doing the alternate fire, which is a, hey Slurp, how's it going today? I like that emote. What is that, dog with a chef's hat on? We're doing the alternate fire. So what the alternate fire does is it actually just levitates one of those saw blades in front of it, and it just kind of sits there, and that's about it. And it does some direct damage. Sounds pretty boring, but it's actually pretty strong. So, all right, let's get into the build here. So, again, because this has two fire modes, sometimes weapons that have two fire modes, they do have to be built differently. And this is one of them. This is not, the primary and the alternate fire are not so wildly different from each other that like you couldn't use the primary fire while you were using the alternate fire build, or you couldn't use the alternate fire while you were using the primary fire build. Like these builds are actually quite similar to each other. It's just that to get the most out of each one, you do have to build them with some very like few specific mod differences. So, okay, so the first few stats here are for the primary fire. So I'm going to go all the way down to this one right here. This is going to be the alternate fire here, the secondary fire. So the primary fire actually had an AoE. The alternate fire does not have AoE. And that's a good and a bad thing. It's bad because, well, it doesn't have AoE, so we can't hit multiple targets in a radius. But because it doesn't explode, we can actually put punch through on it, and punch through will work. And so, yeah, we can't hit targets in a radius, but we can hit targets in a line. And so Prime Shred will work very good on the alternate fire. And that also helps us too because it doesn't explode. We're using Prime Shred, and that means Galvanized Aptitude is also going to function at its full potential. Whereas in the primary fire, Galvanized Aptitude, it was an option, but Hunter Munitions ends up beating out Galvanized Aptitude in the primary fire. And it's just because Galvanized Aptitude, you don't get the full effect on it on enemies hit by that radial attack that the primary fire has. But you don't have that issue with the alternate fire because there is no radial attack. So looking at the alternate fire here, it only has two elements, which does kind of suck for Galvanized Aptitude. But it is the best mod for this slot. But there is only two elements. Galvanized Aptitude works additively on this weapon instead of multiplicatively, which is the weaker way it could work. But it's kind of the normal way. It's the normal way Galvanized Aptitude is supposed to work. So it just works additively. And so only having two elements is effectively going to make Galvanized Aptitude 160% damage increase, which is still pretty good. Hey, that's like a Serration on top of the 80% status chance that it has. So two statuses. It's actually got a little bit of a higher starting critical chance in the primary fire, which is very nice because in the primary fire, if you watch that video, it starts out with white and yellow crits, and it takes you like one, maybe even two stacks of galvanized scope to get into full yellow crits. Well, with the alternate fire, because it has a little bit of a higher starting crit chance, you don't even need a single galvanized scope. You just need the first conditional. So just on a headshot, that's not even a headshot kill, just on a headshot, you get 120% crit chance. That's all you need. You don't actually even need the ×5 conditionals on the bottom of this. So as soon as you get a headshot, you're into full yellows, and then every conditional past that with those 5 times will give you more and more orange crits. So at 1 times, you'll get a little, very small amount of orange crits, and then at 5 times, you'll be in like almost full oranges. This weapon is kind of hard to stay at a high galvanized scope stack because a lot of your kills are going to be through slash damage, and that's not counted as a headshot kill. So just keep that in mind, is that you're probably, just like the primary fire build, you're probably going to be kind of, floating around like 2 or 3 stacks of galvanized scope, which is still good enough. Honestly, like I said before, we only need the on headshot really to get into full yellows. So, okay, let's go to all the mods here. So we're going to have galvanized chamber for multi-shot, galvanized scope for crit chance, galvanized aptitude for status chance and direct damage per status type affecting the target. This slot here, another consideration is hunter munitions. Although on testing, even though hunter munitions and galvanized aptitude were close to each other, they were somewhat similar in damage. Galvanized aptitude was noticeably better. So galvanized, I am very confident in saying galvanized aptitude is better than hunter munitions. Whereas in the primary fire, it was very, very close. Hunter munitions and galvanized aptitude are very, very close to each other. I ended up going with hunter munitions in the primary fire mode, but they were super, super close. Alternate fire, I can confidently say galvanized aptitude is better than hunter munitions, although they are still kind of close. Primary shred is going to be our fire rate mod, and because this weapon, the alternate fire of this weapon does not explode, we can actually use punch through, so we don't have to go with vial acceleration. We can go with prime shred. Now, if you don't have prime shred, it's a hard mod to get. It's a login reward. I think it's like either at 100 or 200 days in, you get it. So not everyone's going to have prime shred. You could just go with vial acceleration. That's fine too. But if you have prime shred, it's going to let this alternate fire hit multiple targets at once, which is going to be really nice. Critical delay is going to be our crit chance mod. Vital sense is going to be your crit damage mod. It's simple. They always go together. The next two is going to be viral. So we're going to have the 60-60 cold, the 60-60 toxic, and we're going to make viral out of those two. Now, it's important that, like, I have primed cryo rounds, and I could put primed cryo rounds over rhyme rounds, and that would still give me viral. But just remember that element mods don't get factored into crit equations. So primed cryo rounds would increase my flat damage. It would make this this paper damage look a lot more. It would boost it way over 396 that it says here. But this 165 cold wouldn't be factored into crit equations. So on a weapon where a lot of your damage is coming out of crit equations, those are like definitely high crit weapons and even some hybrid weapons. You usually want to go with just 60-60s. Weirdly, on status weapons is usually where non-status elements do really good. So yeah, it's kind of weird, but that's kind of how it works. So we're going to go with the 60-60s here, and that's also because we're not using hunter munitions. We're not going for a forced slash proc build. We're going for a natural slash proc build. And to produce natural slash procs, we need to naturally produce them through status chance. And so having 60 status chance here, 60 status chance here, and 80 status chance here, that helps us get all of our slash procs. Whereas hunter munitions doesn't really matter what your status chance is. You're just getting forced slash procs when you get criticals. But we're not doing that with this build. We're going with a natural slash build. Okay, and then next in the Exila slot, this is very important. It's going to be Sinister Reach. So the beam that comes out that kind of like levitates that little saw blade in front of you is very short, very, very short. And so Sinister Reach boosts it out 12 meters, which is really good. It's still kind of short range, but it boosts it out at a reasonable level. It's not like ridiculously short anymore. And then for our Arcane, we're going to be going with Primary Deadhead, and that's going to give us 360% flat damage. Headshot multiplier, which, yeah, it's okay. And negative weapon recoil, which is kind of okay. I don't even know if the alternate fire has recoil or not. I didn't even test that, but regardless, I'm going to be going Primary Deadhead. The stacks, they stay on longer. We're going to be going for headshots with this anyway, so why not get a little bit of a headshot multiplier, even though it's not going to be that great. Primary Merciless is only going to increase our reload speed, and weirdly, this weapon doesn't have to reload very often. It has a very big magazine pool, and it takes a really long time for you to deplete that magazine pool. So, but you could go at Merciless. I mean, if you don't have a full thing of Primary Deadhead and you only have like a Primary Merciless, that it's going to work just as good, honestly. It's still 360% flat damage. Okie dokie. So that is it for the mods for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test this on a Steel Path Kuva Survival for 10 minutes. We're going to kill some trash, kill some acolytes. I'll show how it works. It's going to be a very good trash, Eximus, and Thrax killer. And I am going to suspect, I haven't tested against acolytes yet, but I'm going to suspect it's going to be a very bad acolyte killer. And that's just, and it's kind of the same reason for the primary mode yesterday, where acolytes can't stack statuses past 4. And so, like, yeah, this produces a crap load of slash procs. That's where you're getting a lot of your damage from is slash procs. Well, you can only put 4 on the acolyte. You can't really stack them. And so this is probably going to be hurting a little bit when it comes to the acolyte. Okay, so because we're not mixing this with any external factors, we're just going to be doing this on a big dumb Inaros with no Archon shards that increase weapon damage. No mods on the Inaros that increase weapon damage. And with a pet with no sentinel weapon, and no mods on the pet that increase weapon damage. Alrighty. We'll start this mission off here. My goal is to go through all of the Steel Path viable weapons in the game. And I think this one's going to be pretty, like, mediocre. I don't think this is going to be, you know, like a meta weapon at all. I think it's going to be very average. But it is still Steel Path viable. So I am going to do this weapon, and this alternate fire mode specifically. So I just casted my 3 there to increase my armor. You'll see me doing that once in a while. But all that does is give me armor, and it gives me status immunity. It doesn't affect the actual power of the weapon at any point. So, okay, let's start this here.
As expected, Grenier have shut down the environmental systems, sending modified life support capsules.
Now you are going to have to hold down the saw button. Your alternate fire button, which is going to be a little bit awkward because you have to aim in with your right click, and you're going to be alternate firing with your middle click. So it's a little bit awkward on the fingers, unless you have different key bindings, of course. So it's a very unique weapon. There's not a lot of weapons that have functions like this. You're going to try to get, you know, headshot kills when you can. You're going to get them once in a while. But like I said, you're going to be floating probably around like 2 or 3 on your galvanized scope stacks. But that doesn't really matter. I mean, you really just want to get the initial to get out of white non-criticals, because white non-criticals are not going to factor in your critical equations. So you're losing a lot of damage by having white non-criticals. There we go. We got an Eximus there. Let's get some slash procs on him. He's dead. There's another Eximus. Let's get some slash procs on him. He's dead. You know, and I have no form of armor strip other than, well, I guess other than slash, which kind of goes through armor anyway. I guess you can call that an armor strip. So I'm going to head to this set of life supports here. I'm going to hit 2 of them up so we don't run out. Yeah, my goal is to go through all of the weapons in the game, form them up. Well, all of the Steel Path viable weapons in the game. There are some weapons that are not Steel Path viable. Weapons that just take an absolutely horrid amount of time to kill, like even regular Steel Path enemies. One of the worst weapons I've tested so far was the Euphona, unfortunately. Well, the Euphona Prime even. I tested the Euphona Prime and it was very, very bad. I would still consider it Steel Path viable because, you know, you can technically two-shot headshot trash, but it just kills so slowly that it is like it's on the brink of not being Steel Path viable. But Weirdly, there's actually most weapons in the game are steel path viable. It's very hard to find a weapon that's not steel path viable. The Stug is one that I found. The Torrid was actually a non-steel path viable weapon on my list for a long time until they gave it its incarnate mode, and then it went from like not steel path viable to best weapon in the game. All right, I'm gonna head to that next life support there. This is not going to be the quickest killing weapon, so I'm going to have to kind of chase life supports as they come. I want to kind of like develop a I don't know how to say it, like a codex or encyclopedia of like weapon builds for people to go and look at. That's my goal. Even if the weapon is not, meta, it's just an average steel path weapon, I kind of want to still develop it. All right, we got Malice. Of course, he's going to be the worst Acolyte to get. So, he put the mag bubble on me. I'm going to roll and drop that mag bubble behind me. If you try to shoot while you have the mag bubble on you, you will kill yourself. You also can't shoot through the mag bubble, which is annoying. He spawns somewhere back there. I'm going to try to find him and do some damage to him just so we can show what this does against Acolytes, which I'm going to suspect is very low. I don't know, maybe it'll surprise me. I didn't test it against the Acolyte. That's the one thing I didn't test it on. Maybe hit that life support, though. Maybe Malice will come to me over there.
When you need it, extraction is ready.
So check here. 178. That's not terrible for 5 minutes. If we can kill Malice quickly and get back to killing trash, this might even hit average levels. Average would be like 400 kills in 10 minutes. It's just that, you have to factor in killing the Acolyte and how long it takes you to do that. I don't even know where the hell he is. I think he's one of the red targets underneath me. I know what he's going to do. He's going to randomly put the mag bubble on me, and I'm not going to realize it, and I'll kill myself. Nope, that's an Exodus. Thought that might have been him. There he is. There's the mag bubble. I'm going to roll and drop the mag bubble. Where is he? Here he is. All right, I mean, it chipped his shield pretty good. Oop, let me not stand in the mag bubble. It's not doing the best, but it's actually doing a little bit more damage than I thought it might have been doing. I'm going to give myself a little bit of armor and status immunity here. You put the mag bubble on me again. I'm going to go kind of in a corner and roll so I can drop it. Yep. Oh, there he is. Get some shots on Malice. I do need to hit a life support. So grab this yellow one, and then I'm going to hit this white one. Oh my goodness. Come on, Salt. You're going to lose this because of my bad parkour. I think this weapon will end up at the end of this Kula survival looking like it's below average, just because I spent a lot of time chasing life sports and now going to fight Malice. If I had been able to spend more time killing trash, it might have looked more average. I still don't know where he is. I hope he's going to come up the staircase. I think that's probably him right there. Nope, that's an Exodus. There he is. Kill him. Stupid mag bubble. Yeah, he's dead. Slash proc got him. have to run for life support again.
Critical life support levels.
We're at 300 meters.
Extraction is your best option.
I might have just gotten a little bit unlucky during this run, like chasing the life supports. We'll see. We'll see how it does on Lua. We'll do Lua Conjunction next just to get 2 runs. It won't be the exact same mission, but 4%, 2%. No, I'll fail right here. I didn't get it in time. That's okay. So 8 minutes and 30 seconds. We're at 220 kills. 220 kills is well below average. But keep in mind, once that 5-minute mark hit and Malice came out, like 2 or 3 minutes we're just chasing that dude and chasing life supports. So that 220 could be a little bit skewed. I think if I had had an easier time, we'd be finding Malice initially. We might have gotten a higher kill count there. So, but 220, 222, that's below average, well below average. So we'll test this on Lua Conjunction next. Lua Conjunction is going to force us to fight higher level enemies, 180 to 200. They're going to be mixed. They're not all going to be Grineer. And we're also going to have to fight Thraxes in it, which are going to be tanky enemies that kind of test our big dude killing potential, which actually is very good on this because it produces a crazy amount of slash procs. So, okie dokie. Conjunction survival. But we'll still have the same issue that we did on Kuva's survival, where it's not the best acolyte killing weapon.
Their rage is vehement.
So, of course, I'm not going to have any conditionals here, so it's going to look a little bit weak against these Drakmasters. That's pretty much every weapon. Every weapon starts off weak until you get your conditionals up, so you can't really judge it on these 2 kills. Don't judge me. Alright, I'm going to cast my 3 to give myself some armor and status immunity, and we'll start it up.
The Orokin Neural Sentry is attempting to purge you from this place. Stand by for life support.
Do they all spawn behind me, like where the life support's not going? That's nice. I never understand this. They just end up beating the shit out of each other, even though they're all corrupted. Maybe someone can enlighten me on why they do that. You know what? Maybe it's the little Drax that the Drakmasters summon. Maybe they don't count as corrupted, so they end up just shooting each other. Because that's like an issue I always have on Lua Conjunction, is that the enemies won't follow me and go from place to place because they're busy just beating the shit out of each other. And it might be those little dogs. It might be the Drak dogs. Maybe they don't count as corrupted when they get summoned. Alright, let's head to this set of life supports. We're going to kind of try to Congo line this group of enemies towards us because we do want to try to fight near life support. Because just like Kuva's survival, we're probably going to have to chase life supports with this weapon. Just because this weapon, it's a strong weapon, but it's average. You know, it's an average weapon. It's not getting a crazy amount of kills. And so you are going to have to chase life supports with this weapon. Now, during my tests, I only use this weapon, no matter how good or bad it does on the target, just so I can show it off. How good or bad it does against certain enemy types. So in your own gameplay, of course, you wouldn't, use this against acolytes. It's very bad against acolytes. Or you might have a weapon that kills Eximuses quicker or packs of enemies quicker. So I'm head towards life support here. I'm actually just going to go over here and hit 1 or 2 of them. We'll hit 1. I don't want to waste any.
All manner of Orokin technology may work here due to the Circulus's proximity. If you have a necromech, you may use it. Because we put punch through on the weapon with Prime Shred,
you're going to want to try to line enemies up to get the most out of it. That's basically the whole reason we're using Prime Shred. Otherwise, you know, for single target enemies, you'd use Vile Acceleration because that just is a higher fire rate. But Prime Shred will give you more damage potential if you can line enemies up. So I'm hoping we get an early Acolyte so we don't have to fight him and the Thoraxes at the same time. So they can spawn, I believe, as early as 3 minutes in. Yeah, we did. Oh, perfect. That 3-minute timer hit, and immediately we got a Acolyte spawning. Okay, hit one of these right off the bat. And then we can just focus on this guy. It's not going to be a good Acolyte killer. We got Necros, or the Necros Acolyte, so he's not too bad. I'm going to try to keep a little bit of trash in between me and him, just so I can make sure my Deadhead stacks stay up. So yeah, like we said before, this is not a good Acolyte killing weapon. In your own gameplay, of course, you wouldn't use this against the Acolyte. You would have a melee or a secondary that would be a better Acolyte killer. This is not really the one to use against Acolytes. I just want to show it in this testing just to show everyone like how this looks against the Acolyte. Which is pretty pitiful. I mean, it'll kill him through pure attrition. But, I mean, you can say that with any weapon, really. It'll kill him through pure attrition. I don't think there's any weapon that will heal him. Got my weapon stolen. All right, he's almost dead, and we're going to have Thoraxes coming out very soon. So I want to finish him off. There he is. All right, he's dead. I want to try to spawn the Thoraxes near this life support because I'm going to want to try to hit it. All right, they just spawned. I'm going to run to this life support and hit it, though, because we're in the red already. Average weapons will sometimes fail at 5 minutes. I'm hoping I don't. I'm hoping I can hit this, kill the Thoraxes, and then kind of stabilize, but I guess we'll see. Because I spent so long killing the Acolyte, I wasn't killing trash and like farming yellow life supports. One's down. Second Thorax. I'm hoping that life support behind me comes in. It's in front of me right here. If it doesn't, we'll probably fail right here. Yeah, we did. I'll finish this Thorax off, and then we'll see where we're at for kills. So this weapon did fail at the 5-minute mark. We were not able to get both Thoraxes down. It's an okay Thorax killer. It's not the best Thorax killer either, though. But it's an okay Thorax killer. It's just that we spent and wasted so much time on that Acolyte instead of farming yellow life supports from trash. So our Acolyte killing potential really pulled the weapon down in its trash killing, because instead of killing the trash, we were killing the Acolyte. Okay, so 117 kills. It's very bad. Now, again, this is only for 5 minutes, so, you know, in 10 minutes, you could kind of expect that to be double. But even like 200 was kind of similar to the Cougar Survival there. So below average. Below average weapon. I think its Acolyte killing potential kind of pulled it down from where it could have been. I think maybe it could have been higher if I was able to deal with Acolytes quicker, but I could not deal with Acolytes quickly. You know, it's still a Steel Path viable weapon, and even the alt fire, it's still a Steel Path viable mode. It's just not a strong weapon or a strong mode. Yesterday with the primary fire, we came to the conclusion that it was average at best, maybe even a little bit below average. And then today with the alternate fire, that is well below average. So my conclusions with the Panthera Prime, they're both kind of different weapons. Even though they're both the Panthera Prime, the primary fire and the alternate fire act completely differently. Even though they use a lot of the same mods, they act very differently. But yeah, the primary fire, average to maybe a little bit below average, and then alternate fire, definitely below average. Maybe even less than below average. Maybe even in like the bad category. So thanks so much for watching, guys. If you liked it, give it a like, and I hope you guys have a good day. Take care. Bye.